Welcome to the Own It Sister podcast with the amazing life coach, Sarah Oxendine.
Aloha, everybody. What's up? How are you? It's Sarah Oxendine with the Own It Sister podcast, episode number 15. Today's topic is listening with intent. Okay? So really, it's listening deeply and with intent. Because so often when we are having like a conversation, right? Like we hear what someone says, but then we're thinking about what we're going to say back and we're not really hearing. And so this is a skill that I'm going to teach you, a skill that is going to really help you when you really want to understand and hear what someone is saying, that's your choice, right? Sometimes there might be times that you don't really care, you don't want to know. But if you really care and you really want to know, there's really 4 parts to a conversation. This is really interesting. So when someone is speaking, when they're telling you something, actually when there's a conversation, there's the person who's talking and they in their brain, there's what they want to be telling you, right? So there's their intent of what they want to be saying. And then there's what they actually say. And then there's what you're hearing them say. And then what you're making that mean. What? I know, is that awesome? So listen again. There's the person. So when you're having a conversation, if someone's talking to you, there's what they mean to say, what they're actually saying, then there's what you're hearing them say, and then what you're making that mean. Okay? So what they actually say, you would put that in the circumstance of the model. Okay? And we'll go through some models later, but just so you know. Now, the reason this is important, right? You might be like, hello, Sarah, how am I supposed to pay attention to all that? But this is why it's so important, is because what someone actually says, like the actual sentence that comes out of their mouth, they could be intending to say something totally different. And then what you hear them say could be different than even the actual sentence that they said. And then it could be totally different from what they actually meant. So when you can go into the perspective of being curious when you're having conversations, rather than deciding that you're only going to listen to the exact words that came out of their mouth, but instead you're going to say, I'm going to hear the words that came out of their mouth, but I'm also going to ask them, can you tell me what you meant to say? Right? Or is this what you meant to say? Because sometimes you need to say it back to them. And then even if you said the exact same words, they'd be like, wait, no, it's not even that's not what I meant. And sometimes you may notice this about yourself, right? Like where you say something and then you're like, oh yeah, those words that came out of my mouth, that is not what I was trying to say in my brain. I mean, that has definitely happened to me in my life. So this is just really good to understand, because then when you're having a conversation with people, especially people where you really want to understand where they're coming from, when you can understand that there's really 4 parts to a conversation, broken down like this, that you can be paying attention for things. You can be curious about things. You can ask them, oh, what did you mean? You can even tell them, hey, this is what I just heard you say. Is this what you meant? And that would be a good way to clear up what they actually said, because then because again, once you ask them that, hey, this is what I heard you say, is that what you meant? If they say yes or no, you're still going to then have thoughts about what they meant. All right. So it's like, it's not even over. Like we're still playing this in our brain. So that's how it's broken down. So let's go over some examples. Let's say that my husband says, I don't care, do whatever you want, you never listen. Okay. Let's say that he says that, your husband says that to you. Now, in this circumstance, you would write husband says, and again, you guys were talking about the model, because the model works for everything. And so every time that I do my podcast, I'm going to be doing examples. Well, I'm going to try. Pretty sure I have, but there might be a few where I didn't. and I apologize. But I'm going to try to apply the model to all of my podcast episodes so you can really see how to be applying the model in your life and practice using it, you guys. This is an amazing tool. This is a tool that I go in depth with my clients when I work with them. And if you would like to work with me one-on-one, if you're ready for a life coach, I would love to work with you. But we really we use the model to solve all the problems. It really just helps us see things clearly. So let me show you this. So you have your husband says, I don't care, do whatever you want, you never listen. Okay? So in the circumstance, again, you would write husband says exactly the sentence that he says, which in this case, he said, I don't care, do whatever you want, you never listen. You don't say he screamed it at me, right? There's no descriptive words there. You just say the exact words that he said, the exact sentence. And then now in going to what we just talked about on the way a conversation, like the 4 different ways a conversation actually goes, we're gonna say what your thought is in the thought line, but then we're also going to say what we think his thought might have been. Okay? This just helps us understand where he's coming from better, or whoever we're talking to. So in the thought here, it'd be like, what a jerk. That could be your thought, right? Or my thought. And then if we try to think, okay, what would his thought be if he's saying to me, I don't care, do whatever you want, you never listen. What could his thought possibly be that's causing him to say this to me? And his thought could be, I'm trying to help her and she isn't hearing me. Do you see how if you choose and take the time and make the effort to go into what he might be thinking as to what his intent might be, as to why he said what he actually said, right? Because that's not the actual words that came out of his mouth. But when we go there, then we're able to feel differently about it, right? So if I go to my thought, what a jerk, now I'm annoyed, maybe angry, and then I'm going to act probably, a little sassy back. For sure, I can be pretty mouthy, so I'll probably be mouthy back. And then the result would be that now we're fighting, we're bickering. Or if I go, instead of thinking, if I notice my thought and then I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. What could he be thinking right now? And if I choose to pay attention to that, and in this case, my thought is that he could be thinking, I am trying to help her and she isn't hearing me. That feels very different inside of my body rather than what a jerk. Do you see that? What a jerk feels makes me angry and I'm trying to help her and she isn't hearing me. That takes me to a place of compassion. Now more understanding. And so when I feel compassion, I'm able to lean into it. Maybe I say, hey, I apologize for not hearing you. I can see why you're frustrated with me. If that's my action, instead of my snappy, sassy attitude, the result's going to be so much different, right? So in that result, right now, I'm listening and learning, and we're able to connect through a situation that could have spiraled into some bantering. Okay? So that's one example. Okay, so I'm going to tell you again. This is how it is. If you didn't get to write this down, I really just want you to hear this. Listen to this podcast a few times because this is really, really good. Listening with intent is vital to healthy relationships. And just really you showing up is probably who you want to be in the first place. So there's what the person is intending to say, right? What they mean to say. Then there's what they actually say, which is the sentence that comes out of their mouth. There's what you hear them say, and then there's what you're making it mean. And for you, the part that it's what you're making it mean, that's the part that's going to affect you the most. Okay? Okay, let's do another example. Mother says, you shouldn't have left him. Okay? That would go in the circumstance, okay? The circumstance is facts. Your mom says, you shouldn't have left him. Now, your thought is, wow, you never have my back. But if you try to go to her thought, okay, What is she meaning to say? What is her intent? What is her thought that she's having that's causing her to say this to me? What could she be? What could that thought be? Her thought could be, I don't like seeing you in pain. That feels so much different inside of your body, right? What a different perspective. When your mom says to you, you shouldn't have left him. Right there. And the reason I'm teaching you this, you guys, and we're going to finish this model. The reason I'm teaching you this is because so often what we tell ourselves is, I'm mad at her because she said this. She did that or he did that and I'm angry, right? We think that what they're saying or what they're doing is making us feel a certain way. That is not ever the case. That's not ever the truth. We feel a certain way because of what we're thinking about what they said or did, or even what we're thinking about what we think they meant. Right? Someone can say a sentence to us and we can just all of a sudden tell ourselves something totally different. So in this case, mother says, you shouldn't have left him. Your thought, wow, you never have my back. But then when you take the time, like, okay, what could my mother possibly be thinking that why would she be saying this to me? And you know your mom more than anybody. So you go there and don't, because your brain's going to want to be like, no, she's always against me. She loved him more than me. What a jerk. You know what I'm saying? Your brain's going to want to do that. But that's your thoughts that you're allowing to interfere. I want you to get out of your own head, and this is going to be challenging, but it's going to be super worth the effort. Get out of your own head and really try to be in her head. And you could ask her too. You could be like, hey mom, like, what do you mean by that? Like, why would you say that to me? What are you trying to say to me right now? And most of the time when we go to, and I'm not saying that sometimes people aren't just going to be jerks, okay? Sometimes people are. And they might just be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And even in those cases, I feel like, if I was to ask my husband something, if he's annoyed with me or something, and I'm like, hey, what did you mean? Even if he says, this is what I mean, and it's the mean thing, if I really go into his head and I really try to see where he's coming from, because I know that he loves me. I know that he cares. I know he doesn't really want to hurt me in like at that moment, he might be trying to jab at me for sure. But is that really what he's really wants to be doing? Is that really what he thinks of me? No. So if you go to the place, right, for here, and you have this thought instead, you get into your mom's head. Okay, what is she? Okay, I don't like seeing you in pain. Again, how does that make you feel? It might make you feel, maybe you have some guilt. Maybe it makes you feel sad. Maybe you feel compassion, right? You will know how that makes you feel. But, and then maybe, so I put here guilt or sad. I wonder why I put that. I don't like seeing you in pain, because then we feel, for me, I think I would feel sad that my mom's feeling sad for me, right? I would have some compassion there. And so the action could be, tell your mom, I'm okay. I can do hard things. Because now, you're reassuring her, hey, I chose this. I'm okay. Or even if you didn't choose it, this is where I am. I'm going to be okay. I can do hard things. And then from that, the result is you're moving forward. You're moving forward with your relationship with your mom. You're moving forward in your relationship now that you're not with him anymore. This is, of course, a situation where, you left him. So it could be maybe you left a bad relationship, right? Maybe you left a good relationship. It had just lived its time already. Sorry, excuse me. Holy smokes, hold on. Whoa, I just got a little swallowed that the wrong way. All right. So do you see how moving out of your own head, noticing what you're thinking, but then moving out of your own head to be curious about what's going on in the other person's head, it really creates space for you not to get offensive. All right. for you not to feel like you need to be like offensive. What? Defend. I'm like, why am I having a problem right now? So you don't need to feel like someone's coming at you, right? Because you're getting out of your own head. Where could they possibly be coming from? This is a really helpful skill. And I mean, taking the time, especially with those relationships that really matter to you, right? Like your children, and ones that you really need to. Like if you're, a single mama, if you're divorced, you may not necessarily care about your ex, but if you have children, you're going to want to figure out how to get along so that you can make it through, because you've got these kids you got to share, right? So taking the time for that. As soon as you open up to this, it helps you just become more compassionate rather than defensive. This will completely change the way you interact with people. This is teaching you to listen to what they are trying to say, not only to what they are actually saying to you. The action is what they are saying to you. The feeling is what is driving them to say it, and the thought is what is causing your feeling. Okay, I want you to hear that. The action is what they're saying to you. So when we're talking about in the model, so the way the model goes, you have a circumstance, a thought, a feeling, an action, and then a result. So the action is what they are. So when you're trying to get into their head and see what they're thinking, you would put the action that they said to you. So mom said, why did you leave him, right? That would go in the action. And then you'd be like, man, what is the thought that they were thinking? Or what is the feeling that's driving them to say that? So she could be feeling overwhelmed. She could be feeling, sad for you. She could be feeling frustrated for the situation. And then that thought that's causing her to feel that way is, and the one that we decided in that, in this last model was, I don't like seeing you in pain, right? So she has a thought, I don't like seeing you in pain. She is feeling sad, frustrated for you. And then that's causing her to say, you shouldn't have left him, right? Can you see that? So ask yourself, what are they thinking that is causing them to feel this way and resulting in them saying what they said? And that's kind of what we talked about. Here's another example. Your boss says, I want to talk to you in my office tomorrow. Right? And your thought is, oh crap, did I do something wrong? Now, if you go to his thought, okay, so if you go to his thought, you'd put his thought in the action. So it would be, and again, you can either ask them, hey, why did you want to talk to me tomorrow? You could totally do that. Or, hey, mom, why did you say I shouldn't have left him? Or, oh, hey, husband, why did you say, what was that? Whatever, do it yourself. You never listen anyways. Why did you say that to me? You can ask them. But you can't, it may not always be a situation where you can, or it may be so heated that if you ask them, it could just make things worse. So you decide what the best case scenario is there, but you can just go there yourself. So if your boss is saying, I want to talk to you in my office tomorrow, if you're not going to ask, you could just ask him. But if you don't ask him, you could just think, okay, what are the possibilities? Because your brain wants to tell you, oh crap, what did I do wrong? And for some reason, our brain always wants to do that. It doesn't need to do that. We can instead just go to, okay, if my boss really wants to talk to me in his office tomorrow, what are really the real possibilities? What could he really be wanting to talk to me about? Like, why is he actually saying this to me? And then you could choose to think, oh, maybe he's thinking that I'm ready for a promotion. I've been showing up to work early. I've been taking on extra things. I covered for so-and-so. Oh my gosh, maybe he wants to give me a promotion. Like, that's a thought available to you. Just as much as, oh crap, did I do something wrong? Like, it's so crazy. Our brain just wants to go to this worst case scenario. That's optional. You could totally go to best case scenario. That is just as optional to you as the worst case scenario, and it feels way flipping better. So you could choose to think, oh my gosh, he must be thinking that I'm ready for promotion. This is flipping amazing. And, okay, yeah, still going. And then that's going to help you, then that's going to cause you to feel excited. And then you can finish off the day strong. So I want in this situation you to see how the different thoughts actually create the result for you. So in this case, if you're thinking, oh crap, if we followed that, if we kept that thought, then you're going to feel crappy. And then you're going to act probably crappy. You're probably going to just not end the day super strong, right? And if you don't end the day super strong, then whatever was possibly, like, it just, your boss is going to, maybe see that you didn't do as well. What if he changes his mind? What if then maybe it was supposed to be something positive and then it turns into something negative, right? So you create through our actions, which starts from our thoughts, okay? Now, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, holy smokes, probably my boss is thinking, she's thinking that I'm ready for a promotion. This is incredible. And then you feel so excited. You end the day strong and, you have this great attitude. Then the result is when you go for that meeting tomorrow, you're going in confident. You're going in like, yeah, what's up? Tell me all about it. I'm excited. But if you're thinking, oh crap, what did I do wrong when you show up for that, with that meeting in your boss's office, she might look at you and be like, oh man, maybe this isn't what it can cause things to change. So you show up as your best you, and that's optional. You get to think what you want to think. You do not think or feel because of what someone else does. Those are all yours 100%. So when you are having conversations, you guys, it's important for you to understand that you are feeling however you're feeling in that conversation because of your thoughts and because of what you're making what they're saying to you mean. Because what you're making it mean could be totally different than what they're actually meaning. Now what if you're like, yeah, but what if they really mean that, what I think? What if when I ask them, what did you mean? They actually say, oh yeah, I totally meant that I hate you. Yeah, I didn't mean something different. I just meant I hate you and I don't care about you. And that's what I'm saying, right? Someone could say that to you and you still get to decide what you want to make that mean. Like I would be like, I suggest, and I would be like, oh, they must be totally confused. Obviously I'm totally likable. They don't like me. That's very weird. They must be confused. And just like, I don't need to make it mean anything's wrong with me. Some people hate the beach. Some people hate the sunshine. Some people hate warm weather. What? It doesn't mean anything's wrong with any of those things. Someone can totally hate you. Now you could approach that with also, oh my gosh, what did I do something to offend you? I super apologize. Like, is there anything that I can do? Like, can I make how can I make this right? They may be like, no, there's nothing you can make right. I just don't like people like you. Oh, okay. Awesome. It's very weird. Okay, bye. And you can just decide. And it doesn't have to be this, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me, or how dare they, blah, blah. Just be like, yeah, like that's weird. So again, before we go, my friends, when we're having conversations with people, there's 4 parts to the conversation. There's what they are meaning to say. There's what they actually say. The sentences that comes out, the words that come out of their mouth, okay? Then there's what you are hearing them say, and then there's what you are making it mean. This is serious, you guys. Paying attention and getting out of your own brain and really asking yourself, what do I think they meant? What were they thinking? What were they feeling? What was the thought they were having that caused them to say this sentence to me? And then even that sentence that came out of my mouth, what do I think they actually meant by it? Be curious. It's going to make all of your conversation so much deeper. You're going to grow in ways that are going to be amazing. So let's see, what essential oils can we use for listening? I normally look these up before I get on here, but I actually didn't this time. So let's just look up listening. Let's see if listening is even an option. It's not. So, what would I say would be, maybe judgmental, because we could be being judgy, very judgy when we're listening to what someone says. Actually, what would be a good one? Could be, I apologize, I didn't do this before. Oh, how about defensive? Yeah, defensive. Let's do defensive. That is a good one for this. So, to help you with feelings of feeling defensive, oregano essential oil. And again, you guys, when I'm using essential oils, I only use doTERRA essential oils. They are hands down the best oils. And I love them. Like, I use doTERRA essential oils every day of my life, on myself, on my children. We diffuse them. I'm actually drinking lemon and lime in my water right now. And I have spearmint on my throat to help me with communication. I use them on my face, like on all kinds of things, for everything. Yeah, they're amazing. So, helping you with feelings of feeling defensive. Oregano, ylang-ylang. I actually do put a ylang under my ears right here every single day. Geranium is another good one. Holiday Joy. Ooh, I love that oil. Now, oregano, ylang-ylang, geranium, and holiday joy, you can... Oh, that's weird. I wonder why they did it like that. Anyways, this is what I want you to ask yourself. What am I protecting myself from? What will it take for me to process the harm I experienced in the past? I am now perfectly supported in every moment. I am now open to trusting that I am safe to be me. See yourself remove protective gear from your body. Imagine restorative light and love surrounding you. That's a really beautiful vision. So especially, when you're working on working on your listening skills and being able to listen with more intent and having better conversations, and not, have you ever talked to someone who they're always like being like on the defense? It's just not a pleasant conversation. But imagine if you can go in there and have that conversation with them and just really try to see from their perspective, like try to be in their brain about what's going on that's causing them to feel that way. What you'll find is it will help you adjust your verbiage so that you can actually have a conversation so that they can actually hear you. And let me tell you, if you're trying to have a conversation with someone, if you can speak in a way that they can actually hear you, that's better for you. That is better for you and them, because now you can actually get somewhere. If you can't hear each other, what the heck? Everything's gone out the window. So have an amazing day, my friends. You guys, this is Sarah Honest. I am honest, but Sarah Oxendine with the Own It Sister podcast. And I am a life coach, and I'm really good at what I do. And I have a 6-week program. I work with women who are recently divorced. I really work with them on helping them transition this, in living in that shift of change. Lots of emotions come up. Lots of emotions about your past come up. Lots of emotions about you. What do you think about you? What do you think about your past relationship? What do you think about you in future relationships? What is your relationship with yourself? And I really work with you closely to just help you re-identify who you are, fall in love with you again, and then help you set yourself up and create a life for you that is going to just be the best life you ever had. That's what I do. So if you're ready to move from where you are to where you want to be, and I include essential oils in my program, and I include supplements in my program, and I teach you how to make bone broth and kombucha and sauerkraut. So we really work. It's a deep work. We work to heal the gut, to heal the mind, and we do the thought work. And it's a really beautiful process, and I really love what I do. So if you want to work with me, my number's below, and let's get started, sister. Have a good one. Remain unaltered and own it, sister.